Welcome to Get Into It with Tami Roman. Okay, first off, let me let y'all know. Of course, this is my first show, and of course, I'm nervous and anxious, but I'm also excited and so thankful to the Fox Soul family for such a warm welcome to me and my team. Now, if you know me, that I plan to have a little tea, and we're going to put that into a segment we call around here Unpopular Opinion. I'm also going to have lots of great guests, and I want to hear from you about your issues that are impacting your life in my Ask Tami segment. Our topic for today is something we need to get out in the open. How do you support your child when they say, surprise, I'm a member of the LGBTQ community, and you weren't prepared to deal with that? We'll dive into that convo in just a minute with my very special guest, T.S. Madison. Later on, you're going to join me for Ask Tami, where I give viewers advice on relationships, family drama, and other personal issues. But first, I'm kicking off the show with my unpopular opinion. Y'all ready? You better be ready, because it's time to get into it. Okay, so about a week or so ago, 50 Cent reacted to Diddy, who was allegedly, go put those air quotes up, dating his baby mama, Daphne Joy. And he posted a photo of them with the caption, nah, me and Puff fight over business. If he likes the girl, he likes the girl. I don't give a F. Okay, so here's what I have to say about that. 50 Cent ain't never held his tongue. If you follow 50, you know he gonna give it to you straight the way it need to be gave. Now, 50 and Diddy, they may not be the best of friends, right? But maybe we can consider them co-workers, business associates. And so he wrote for Diddy, and I think he did some other stuff for him, but they have a relationship. But the question really is, can you date your associate's ex? And I think 50 handled it how 50 would handle anything, right? He don't care. It's not much that he does care about. And let's be clear. That wasn't Cuban. That wasn't Cuban Link. That was Daphne Joy. F. But for me personally, if anybody that I know and have been in close quarters with, a la, like I said, Diddy may have written for him. They are business associates. They have worked together. And if I have any amount of respect for them, I'm just not going to date somebody that they slept with. I don't want secondhand dick. And I don't even know if I can say dick on Fox Soul, but there I've said it twice. So I'm going to try to curtail that word. But I don't want it. Okay? If you done had it already, that means you done flipped it, rubbed it, and slobbed it down every which way but loose. And so I don't want to come behind that. So I don't know what Diddy is thinking. But there's so many women out there. And I feel like, everybody went at Boosie, but in a way, he's right. There's so many women out there. Why y'all keep recycling the same one? I'm not going to talk because I'm about to get in trouble. Don't keep recycling these same ones. There's a lot of women out there. Find you one that ain't been in the circle. Moving on, because I want to get to this. Khloe Kardashian. Now, she showed lately, a little while back, she showed off her abs in a selfie video. And she wrote this. Hey guys, this is me and my body unretouched and unfiltered. The photo that was posted this week was beautiful. But as someone who has struggled with body image my whole life, when someone takes a photo of you that isn't flattering in bad lighting or doesn't capture your body the way it is after working too hard to get it to this point and then shares it to the world, You should have every right to ask for it not to be shared, no matter who you are. Now, she also wrote, she continued her little message she was trying to put out there. The pressure, constant ridicule, and judgment my entire life to be perfect and to meet other standards of how I should look has been too much to bear. Now, I have a few thoughts about this, and I'm going to try to touch on each one as eloquently as I can without being lengthy. It wasn't that deep. That's point one. It wasn't that deep. The picture, although it wasn't Photoshop and it wasn't filtered the way you like your stuff to be out there, you were beautiful. And I feel like you shouldn't feel so self conscious that you can't put out unedited images. Because for the most part, we as people who follow celebrities in this business, we know when y'all put them pictures up there, myself included, that it got a little touch of filter. Okay? You know, you want to see me unfiltered, head on over to Bonnet Chronicles. But when I put that photo up, it got some Facetune. Okay? It got some Photoshop on it because that's the way I want the pictures to be out there. So I understand her thought process in wanting her presentation to be a certain way, but she shouldn't be a slave to it. Okay? That's what I'm trying to say. I feel like y'all created this monster, and now you need to be held accountable because for years y'all said she was the big Kardashian. And then you said she might not even be a Kardashian. The girl was under so much pressure she had to go take a DNA test to say that OJ wasn't her daddy. Like, y'all have taken her through the rumor mill. So you created this monster that now, unfortunately, is a slave, okay, to presentation. And nobody should have to live like that. Chloe was my favorite Kardashian. And then Kim had the kids. And now I love to see North because North just gives it to her up one side and down the other. And it'd be funny to me to see her in those situations. So Kim is slowly inching Chloe out. But at the end of the day, the woman is beautiful. I feel like she shouldn't have to feel that she has to put up videos to show you guys what her body really looks like. If the picture that was out there didn't have all the ab cuts that we see on the pictures on your page, and if the thighs wasn't as slim as the pictures we see on your page, it's okay, Chloe. We still love you and we still think you're beautiful no matter what's out there. But I do want to ask you a question. If you get a chance, let me know how I can get some photos removed. Because it's a gang of stuff. That one with me with that cigarette and that China bang that was tilted to the side, I'd like to have that permanently removed off the face of the planet. So if you could let me know who I got to talk to get some things I don't want up, down, holla at me. I'm going to move on off of this because I feel like I've said all I need to say. Rapper Iggy Azalea. She is exposing X-rated Instagram DMs from celebs in her new music video, Sip It, right? Now, okay. Personally, Iggy being a little messy out here in these streets, okay? Because even though we can't see the names of the male celebrities in her DMs, I personally feel what happens in the DMs need to stay in the DMs coming from this perspective. It's just that, I've never been a person to kiss and tell. I just kept my sex life and suitors who were interested in me to myself. I don't feel like the world needs to know everything. You don't hear me out here talking about old relationships or celebrities I may have dated in the past or things like that, because I just feel like it's not anybody's business. And I think that that's the approach that she should have taken, because quite honestly, nobody cares. I mean, do we really care who's in Iggy Azalea's DMs and who trying to lick her up and rub it. She said in one DM she was offered $15,000 for a conversation by a verified celebrity. So, ooh, child, they was verified. Then in another DM from someone with 6.2 million followers, they messaged her and said, "You need a Pooh Bear, and I will eat that thing like a jar of honey." I almost, as I was saying it, threw up in my mouth. We don't need to know all of that. And here again, Iggy, if you're doing this to let us know that you're relevant, that you're popping, that you got it going on, we don't actually care. You could have kept that information, quite honestly, to yourself and just use it. You get your self-esteem boosters any way you can. Whenever you feeling down about yourself or Playboy Cardi done took you through the rumor mill, go to your DMs, girl, and look at how somebody offered you 15,000 for a conversation, and somebody said they could be your Pooh Bear and whatever else you got going on. Use it for that. Get your self-esteem builders the best way you can, but bringing them to the masses, for the majority of the people, we didn't know what to do with that information. So, we didn't need to see it. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. We Iggy Azalea, take it from me. Keep some things private. Okay. That's how I'm telling you how to get into it. But we're going to get on into today's topic. And this one is really important to me because even at my age, and I just turned 51 this past weekend, you never stop growing and learning and evolving. And I wanted to sit down and have a real conversation and be educated on how I, as a parent, could support my child who has recently come out as a member of the LGBTQ community. Um, my daughter Jazz. And if I'm being completely honest, before I sit down with T.S. Madison, who's a friend of mine, a colleague of mine, and I felt the best person for me to have this conversation with, because I believe in my spirit that she will approach it from a standpoint of enlightening me and not judging or chastising me. Um, I want to be educated on how to be accepting of the lifestyle my daughter has chosen when that's not a lifestyle that I particularly grew up being accepting of, and acknowledging, you know, what I want people to understand before we get into this conversation is a part of the education process is being able to acknowledge what the issue is. And for me, this is definitely an issue within our family that I want to be able to grow. I want to be able to understand my own thoughts, understand my daughter's thoughts, and then see how we can come together to bridge the gap on this particular topic. Um, and I think it's gonna be a really good conversation. I think you guys, some of you are going to relate to what I'm going through. Others, of course, are going to have a difference of opinion. But I feel like the conversation is something that needed to be had. And I'm excited about bringing that to you on my very first episode of Get Into It. So you guys have got to stick around, because when we return, we're talking to T.S. Madison, whose show on WeTV shares her personal journey of becoming the first Black trans woman talk show host. And she's offering some insight to me on our topic today. So stay tuned, because that's coming up next on Get Into It with Tami Roman. Welcome back to Get Into It with Tami Roman. Now, if you want to see more Fox Soul content, please subscribe to their YouTube channel and make sure that you hit the notification bells, because how else are you going to get notifications on all the best updates and new videos and live shows? And don't forget to hit the thumbs up, because we need to know that you like what we're putting down. And of course, you're going to drop down in the comment section and let us know how you feel. Now, here again, guys, this is my first show, and I could not think of anyone other than this person to have this conversation with. The amazingly talented woman who wears many hats, and she's known for her popular online gossip talk show, The Queen's Supreme Court. Please welcome the star of WeTV's The T.S. Madison Experience, my boo, T.S. Madison.
Yes, God, honey. It is Tami Roman, baby. The girl, you better watch if her shoes is off and a cigarette in her mouth. She ain't gonna play with you. Hi, Tami.
I'm never gonna live that down.
You know what, Tami? But that's what has me attached to you. That's what has me love you, because that's so much of me, and it's just real. Like I'm from a place where you have to put down and stand down, and when they see my shoes off, they better know they done messed up.
Yeah. And you know what? People don't know that I do a show with a comedian named Miss Pat, and you came and guest starred on our show, and you were so dope, TS. I mean, you played that character to the hilt, baby, and I was like, I gotta have her on my new talk show.
But Tami, let me tell you something. If it was not for you walking me through, because acting is a thing new for me, but you were walking me through that, and I can't wait for them to see the scene, and then we were able to talk about it later on, because you were like, Becky Madison, white girl, Becky. I was like, oh.
Yes. And you jumped right in. And I knew, when after that day, I said, and we had several conversations, like, chat moments after that. And I said, yo, she's just so real and down to earth. And I've been looking for someone to have this particular conversation with. So let me just bring you up to speed. My youngest daughter came out to the world and said that she was bisexual, right?
Luckily, I've always been very honest with myself and with my mom, so I have no qualms about being honest with you guys on the mix. I felt it was necessary for me to do so that someone doesn't have to try to say my truth for me. So I am bisexual. I do look at myself as a bisexual female in 2020. I've been with females and I've been with males. So for me, it's like I'm not going to let anybody call me a lesbian, because I do like guys. And if I ever am looking and I meet a great guy in the future, I'm definitely down to date him, as I've dated other guys in the past.
And for not trying to sound like I'm not supportive of her journey and her living her truth, but I really want advice on how, as a parent, do I do that when that's not what I was brought up on? That's not the life that, what I'm saying, that I was familiar with, and I'm still trying to educate myself and learn about the LGBT community.
So here's my question to you first, Tami. How did you feel? Like, what were your first
okay, I know where you're going, and I'll tell you honestly, because that's what I want us to do, is have a real conversation about this. And I in no way want to come off as homophobic, because I'm not, right? But in all honesty, I cried. I was hurt. And I want to go on record as saying, as a mother, I believe that there are other mothers out there. Like, people can't try to act like it's just me, but that wasn't what I envisioned for my daughter. Like, when any mother's pregnant with a son, she doesn't say, I want my son to be a gay male. When she has a daughter, she doesn't say, I want my daughter to be a lesbian. You hope that if that's their truth, that you're able to love them, and still have a relationship and a rapport with them. And there are some mothers out there that don't, right? I want the kind of mother that does. But at the same time, I was hurt. I was like, this is not what I envisioned. I wanted her to have a husband and kids and all this other stuff. And then I felt like she selfishly threw a monkey wrench in my plans.
All right. Okay. Well, let's I love the way that you use the word that she selfishly did that. Okay. I want to put this into your head of thinking. When we come out as people, human beings, we already have a script that's laid out for us. The script is, this is your name. This is what you need to do in life. This is where you should live. You should go to college. You should you already have like this whole list of things.
It's outlined what your parent, and mostly it's your parents who put those guidelines on you.
And your parents put those guidelines on you, and society also places these guidelines. So all of this stuff is socially constructed, you know. And when I think about things like that, I think about The Matrix. I just break it down because I don't know if you have ever watched the movie The Matrix. So I think about it like in the Matrix place, like everybody is working on the same system until somebody says, hey, you know, this is crazy. Like, I don't want to walk this way. I don't want to be this way. Like, I want to be me. I want to be myself. I don't want to be fed into the system. And so we come outside of that, and then we tell the people that are in the system still like, hey, this is me. And I'm not trying to change you from being a part of the system, but I don't want to be a part of that system.
Now, which is what I feel she was saying, like, hey, this is who I am. This is what my life is going to be. And you kind of got to wrap your head around it. But at the same time, it's like, I'm trying to figure out how to support it, because I wasn't raised to support that.
I know you weren't raised to support that. Like, my mom wasn't raised to support it. Like, majority of the Black families are not raised to support that. This is why Dwayne Wade, the way he's, you know, embracing his daughter Zaya, this is why it seems like it's such an outrage. Like, this is why every Black person that we know, from Boosie to all of other folks that have all this stuff to say about Zaya and the way Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union are raising their child, you know,
they're very understanding. They're very supportive.
But it's because they have embraced unconditional love.
Well, now, are you trying to say that I don't love my daughter?
No. I want you to embrace unconditional love totally. Like, you love your daughter. You're going to always love your daughter. You're going to fight.
And I still love my daughter.
And you're supposed to fight and all these things for your daughter. But you have to understand that, let's say if you didn't want to go by the set of rules that were given to you, like you have to place yourself in the shoes of your daughter. That probably was something so difficult for her to tell you, because she knows that, you know, she's in an awkward place where she feels out of place from everybody else. Like, everybody else is following the system, and she doesn't want to follow that system because that's not the way she feels.
But Tia, listen, I feel like I love my daughter, and I feel like when she chose to come out, and she texted me. She texted me this information. It's like, would you have done that to your parent? Like, how did you step into your truth with your parents and broach that conversation? Did you sit down with them, or did you send them an email? I mean, like, I just felt like the whole road and the way that she did it, you know, was not understanding of how I would receive it.
Well, mine was worse. Mine was worse. My mother found out from a party. We were having a party. I think it was my 16-year-old party. And a guy was trying to fight me because his boyfriend had been talking to me. And my mother was like, what? You know, so you have a guy that's trying to fight your child about a boy. You're like, wait. Like, so I didn't even have the opportunity to really, because he came to my party to do this. And so I didn't even have an opportunity to really tell my mom, like, Mommy, this is what's going on. This is the way I feel. You know, I didn't have a chance to do that. So I respect your daughter for texting you, because that's a hard thing to know, that you know your mom, you know your dad is not raised this way, and you know you don't want to lose your parent. I didn't want to lose my mom. I was prepared to go the rest of my life as a gay man. Before I even trans, I was prepared to go the rest of my life as a gay man, move to California, become something else, write to my mom, let her never see me like going through transition and all this stuff. Like I have made that decision in my mind because, you know, I didn't want to hurt her. I didn't want to hurt my family by going against the rule. I think that we have to be more empathetic to the way that the child feels. And I know as a trans person or a person of LGBT experience, we tend to, it seems selfish, but it's really not. I think that it's more selfish on the parents' behalf because we have this list of things, you know, that were given to us. We came out of the womb and then here's this to-do list. Right. And I think that it's unfair. I think we take control of our lives. And I want to know this, Tami. How did you feel? Were you more hurt because she said this to you or how she was going to be treated in the world?
I'm quiet because I feel myself getting emotional, and really quickly, I want to dig more into this with you, and I do want to give your question the answer it deserves. So if you guys don't mind, we're going to take a quick break. But when we return, we're talking about how can a parent support their children when they walk in their truth and say, you know, basically, surprise, I am a member now of the LGBTQ plus community. And I'm doing that, having this very important conversation with my sister, T.S. Madison. I'd like for you guys to stay tuned.
Dressing as a girl, was it in high school?
Immediately after. I was a drag queen because there were things that I was trying to conceal from the elders.
From the who?
From the elders.
It hurts my heart because I seen Boo have been through so many trials and tribulations, and I just want my child to know that I am there to lift you up in any kind of way that I can.
Welcome back to Get Into It with Tami Roman, and I am chatting with my dear friend, T.S. Madison. Now, before the break, she asked me how I felt when my daughter came out to me and how that actually made me feel. And, you know, T.S., I'm going to be honest with you. I was hurt. I felt like I had did something wrong. I felt like, did I put her in a situation or an environment where she was introduced to certain things because she had never expressed any interest, you know, in a female? And, you know, my life hasn't always been easy. And so I've moved my kids around a lot. I have had them, you know, be places that if things had been better in my life where they wouldn't have been. And I felt like I didn't know if I had put her somewhere that introduced her to this lifestyle. And at the same time, I'm trying not to be selfish, because if this is who she is, I'm going to love her no matter what. But I'm just trying to wrap my head around this being who she is. And that's been challenging.
But Tami, this is why I ask, are you more hurt because of the way the world is going to treat her?
No, I'll fight to the ends of the earth for my daughter when it comes to the world. I'm more concerned and disappointed in how I am treating her, because I love my daughter so much. Like, I love her with all my heart. But it was very difficult. I can't, you know, and I hate to say it like this, but, you know, because you sound like those people's like, I'm not racist, I have Black friends. It's like, I can't be homophobic because I have so many gay friends in my family, in my team, my squad, but gay always felt like something that was over there.
Right.
And in my house. And so how do I deal with it? How am I supposed to deal with it when it's something that I wasn't prepared to deal with?
Honestly, Tami, you are in a great position right now because you want to deal with it. You want to
learn. I do.
Want to learn.
You want to learn.
You want to learn, you want to continue to love your daughter, you want to be this thing. So I must applaud you for that. And listen, you have every right as a mother and as a parent to feel this way about, you know, this situation, to have these conflicting emotions and feelings about it. And I applaud you for not leaning over and saying, oh, I'm done with you, I'm finished with it.
No,
If it's not my way, the highway. I applaud you.
I may not be interested in meeting the girlfriend. I ain't got there yet. I'm gonna be honest.
It's gonna take steps, and this is what I was gonna say. Maybe Tami, and I think even in my age now, I'm 40. I'll be 44 this year. I still might need to do some counseling. I think that you might need to counsel through this, like with other parents who have LGBT or trans children. Have meetings to understand, like, and to let these emotions out. Mm-hmm. You need a space to let these emotions out and just put it out in the air and understand in conversation why is it now. I think that because my daughter is bisexual, lesbian, or anything, is she now going to? Am I not going to be a grandmother? And is she not? You know.
That's what I'm thinking. Yes, that's what I was thinking. All that is what I was thinking, and that's what I'm saying. That's selfish. And I'm trying to get around that. And that's why I say, like with you in particular, you're so strong. Like when I look out at you, you're so strong. You take whatever people say and what society says. And I just see you take it with a grain of salt. And it's like, this is who I am. And I want to be able to be a representative of that type of energy for the parents.
It was not easy. It was not easy, Tami. It was very hard. It was very difficult to get into that place. I walked out into the world in a dark world. I left my mom. Like I didn't even give my mom the opportunity to really hold
a conversation. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't do it because I was so embarrassed about the way this happened. And then I started transitioning. Like it was so much going on that I got thrown out into a dark, cold world. I learned about things that I shouldn't have. And I really now in this age feel like that if I would have had the comfort or the support system or the love that my mother gives me now, I would have been a stronger individual then. My suggestion to you, Tami, is I think you guys need to counsel through that. But I think that you need to open up and just listen to your daughter. Listen to her.
And how did your dad
also accept that this is the way that she is. I would respect it. Because it's going to be the accepting thing might be a little difficult as it comes, but over time, it will lessen. But you have to respect.
How did your dad feel though?
Huh?
How did your dad feel?
Oh, listen, my dad, and that was a big episode that we had on my show, the T.S. Madison Experience. My dad was a very, because I'm a junior, and my dad, my dad was very, very. He had these same thoughts that you have, because the undertone of one of his thoughts was, did someone molest you? Did someone touch you? Were you touched? Because lots of Black families have those thoughts, like somebody touched my baby. Who did this? Yeah. When I asked him, I flipped the question back and I said to him, well, Pops, what if I was just born this way? Mm-hmm. When did you know that you were straight? When did you know that you did not want to follow? I mean, that you just had to follow that list of rules that was given to you when you came out of the womb. None of this stuff is easy when it comes down to LGBT or trans or any of that, but it's not impossible, especially when you have the willingness to say, this is my daughter. I'm going to love my daughter. This is not about me. Like, this is not about me projecting my life onto my daughter. My daughter has her own life. She has her own life. She has her own thoughts. She has her own beings. She has her own path that she has to follow. And me as a mother, I don't want to lose my daughter. I want to love my daughter. And I think that you have to brace against the thinking about yourself and think about you both. Like, She could have just went out in the world and left you, Tami. Like, there are children that leave their parents. There are parents who separate from their kids and never see their kids again. Like, that's a big step for her to say, Mommy, this is what it is. Because she didn't know how you were going to react.
Right.
But I'm so proud of you for taking the initiative and taking the step to be like, you know what? I'm hurt, but I want to know, what can I do to be a mom to my daughter in this situation?
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for that, especially being a Black woman, because that is very big in our community, in our African American community, you know, with gay kids and trans kids. It's crazy. And I commend you for wanting to even fix it and have a great relationship with your daughter.
Thank you, TS. So if I'm hearing you correctly, your advice to me would be to not be a selfish ass bitch.
Yeah.
And stop thinking about myself.
Yes.
And step a little into her shoes and just try to understand and realize how difficult it was for her to even
tell you that. Mm-hmm. To even tell you that, like, Mommy, I think that you're in the matrix. I'm out of it. And I don't know how to tell you that I don't want to walk the path that you wrote down for me, that was written down for you, that was written down for your mother, that was written down for her mother. Like, I want to walk my own path. And I just want you to love me and protect me in this place. And that's when you kick in as a mama. Like, this my baby, this my daughter.
But for clarity, it's okay if I don't want to meet this other gal yet, right? Like, I can take my time with that, right?
For now. But just don't make it difficult for her, Tami. Just don't make it difficult.
But she's not invited to the barbecue just yet, TS.
Well, let her come in through Zoom, damn it. But just take steps to inviting her, steps and because this is going to be a part of your daughter's life. This is what your daughter's life is going to be, whether it's that girl or another girl. This is going to be a part of what your daughter is, you know, and it's either you love her or she leaves you.
You're right.
You need to be in her life. She needs to be in your life. She needs that.
I love you, sis. And I thank you for coming and talking to me and just putting it straight and real to me. I wanted to get to Fast Five, Tami's Fast Five with you, because I know you're going to have some amazing answers before we get out of here. Let me get to my Fast Five really quickly. What is your most used emoji?
The crying faces where I'm always laughing.
Okay, what's your favorite place to vacation?
Dominican Republic.
If you could spend a day in somebody else's shoes, who would it be?
Oprah, because I spend up all her money and then come back in mine.
Now, what's your go-to outfit when you really want to slay down?
Oh, baby, a bodycon dress, one that fits all these dented up ass curves on me, honey. Yeah.
No. You look amazing, but ain't a dent nowhere. Listen, TS, I love you so much. I wish I could hug you. The COVID's still out there, but I want to thank you for sitting down and talking to me and really just trying to help me wrap my head around a few things. And I'm going to step into my daughter's shoes. I'm going to go to a little therapy. And this was just a wonderful conversation for us to have, and you genuinely have helped me as a mom. And
listen, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for taking those steps to saying, I want to be in my daughter. I'm hurt, but I ain't gonna leave her by the wayside. And then you guys can work through that stuff together. And I love you for that, Tami. That just made me love you. That just made me love you even more.
Thank you, sis. I love you as well. Baby. Thank you so much, everybody. That was T.S. Madison. Let me tell you something. This woman is working hard to make sure that we as a society understand the challenges and the road that transgenders are actually traveling. And so when I wanted to have this conversation with her, when I wanted to have this conversation, I knew that she was the person that could help guide me. Because this is what she works on a consistent basis, and gender non-conforming identities and things like that. I'm so proud of TS. All of you, I want you to stick around because I have some tips on how to handle the haters in your life, plus some advice is going out for a woman who wants to bring someone else into her bedroom. Ask Tami is next. Welcome back to Get Into It. I'm Tami Roman. Woo, cha. That conversation was everything that I needed it to be. I definitely got some gems. And now it's time for me to offer you some gems because it's time for Ask Tami. I love watching the videos that you guys have sent in, and make sure that you keep them coming. But right now, let's get into today's question.
Hi, Tami. My name is Latoya. I'm 41 years old. I am from Piscataway, New Jersey, and I desperately need your help. So, I'm married to the most amazing man. He has raised my older son, who's not biologically his, since the age of 3. He has been there with me through cancer, through COVID, through all types of different issues. When my family started acting crazy, he up and moved me to Richmond, bought me a house. I mean, he's just a wonderful, wonderful man, which is why I am having a hard time with this. So, I recently have realized that I have an attraction to women, and I desperately want to introduce a woman into our relationship. How do I go about asking him without sounding like a selfish, ungrateful, spoiled bitch? I don't want to offend him because you know, he is more traditional, and I don't want him to think that I'm missing anything because the loving is good. My husband is definitely a great lover, but I cannot suppress these feelings of attraction that I have for women, and I would never ever do anything without his blessing. So how do I go about asking him to, I don't know, maybe, you know, have someone over, maybe not even a girlfriend, but, you know, every once in a while, you know, have someone over to come play with us without offending him, without hurting his feelings? Please help.
You got you a good man, Savannah, and you trying to mess it up. Let me tell you something right now, gal. You asking for something that most of the time women are offended when a man asks them. I think that this is a license for disaster in a relationship. I have not seen, well, there's some swingers out there, but I'm just saying most of the time, this scenario takes a left turn when everybody was trying to go right. And I think you are setting yourself up for failure in your relationship dynamic, which you have just expressed is actually great. This man done came and raised a child that ain't his. He done stuck with you as you had your cancer battle. He's a good man. He good in bed. It's not like you're missing anything. And so because you are falling victim to your earthly lustful desires, you now want to introduce somebody into a situation that has no issues. And I think you're setting yourself and your relationship up for failure. Because let me tell you what's going to happen. You viewing it like we're going to invite her over and she's going to come play with us for a little bit. You know what's going to happen? He ain't had no cat, but yours in a minute, right? Now you're going to introduce another chick because you want to suck a titty, okay? And he going to end up liking them titties and that cat more than he like yours. See, women always want to do this. And I feel like it's just lustful. You are in a relationship where two become one. Just like if my husband came and asked me, can we introduce somebody into our relationship? I would say, introduce your ass to the door. Okay, because if I'm not enough for you, then I'm not the woman for you. And that's exactly the predicament you are about to put your husband into. You got to curtail that. All of a sudden, out the blue, you now attracted to women. You didn't say this was a lifelong thing. All of a sudden, and to make it feel right for you, you want to bring it into your relationship dynamic, when what you really need to be doing is saying, you know what, I got a good man. That right here is just me falling victim to my earthly flesh and being lustful. And I'm not going to jeopardize what I have with this man, just like I wouldn't want him to bring it to me and jeopardize what he has in a relationship with me. Okay. I'm not going to jeopardize that for something that would, as you even expressed it, to be a fly by night, every once in a while, let's play around situation. If he ain't asked you for that, I don't think you should ask him for that. I feel strongly in this. I feel that you are about to cause problems that you don't necessarily have to have.
A great day to be alive. But let me tell you what I do know. The world is filled with haters, people who are jealous, and people who are envious, and that ain't got nothing to do with you. You cannot get caught up in the shenanigans of the world. Stay focused on your path and what you're trying to do for you and your family, okay? Get into it. Because here's the bottom line. Some people hate you simply because other people love you. Some people are so broken and they hate the fact that you are whole. Here again, that ain't got nothing to do with you. That's their issue, not yours. And some people are just simply miserable. And let me tell you about miserableness. That's a battle you ain't never gonna win. Do you understand what that means? They are wretchedly unhappy. That's something that they gonna have to fix themselves, because you are not a mechanic. And I tell you what I do know. When God says yes, nobody can say no. If you remember that, if you stay focused, if you have faith, you're gonna accomplish whether they want you to or not.
Thanks for rocking with me today on my very first episode of Get Into It with Tami Roman. I will be back tomorrow at the same time, and we will get into it with my special guest, Yandy Smith-Harris. And I'm going to be asking her, how you get your friends to stay up out your business? Okay, but right now I need you to stay tuned, because the mix is coming up next. Bye, guys.